Let's see what happens. Preparing live stream. And I think we're almost there. Well, I've got a channel notification. That's a good start.
Cool. Vulnerability.
And I think we're live.
And I cannot see you.
You can't see me?
No, I see a picture of you.
Oh, nice.
There you are.
Yay, I'm back. Fantastic. Yeah, I believe we're live, and I'm just going to get the chat on.
All right. So it's just us right now and spirit.
That's right. Great.
Yes.
So,
all right.
Well, welcome to Synergy Live with Jon Binnie and Nela Ma'at.
Yes, welcome, welcome, everyone. Blessings. We would like to start this beautiful meeting with setting intentions for all of us to feel safe, respected, and acknowledged. And I would like to call upon the divine source of creation. I would like to call upon all archangels of the vertical and horizontal plane to be here with us. I would like to invite all ascended masters and divine beings who are working within the grid of spiritual ascension. Saint Germain, please be here. We are Christ consciousness. We are the violet flame. We are now protected and grounded with the divine source of creation and the divine mother Gaia. Thank you so much. And so it is. We are protected. I'm feeling so much energy. This is beautiful.
Wow.
Can you feel it, brother?
Oh, yes. Yeah, very, very strong. And it's funny on your video, I can just see this big kind of halo behind you.
I can see two spirits right next to you, popping behind you. I can see spirits. So
oh, fantastic.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. I see them through well, just by every day watching my teeth. They're right there. They're like, hello. And then
Yeah.
I see them, which is so important for everyone listening, you know, for all of us to, it's just coming to mind, you know, spiritual discernment.
Yeah.
Charging crystals and talismans of power with setting the intentions for protection is so very important. Because for me, like, I'm able to see spirits even on the phone, you know, on the radios, the TV, I mean, just everywhere. So it's so very important to be aware of that. You know, what do we allow into our energies, and to always be aware of it, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's a big thing, right? I feel like over the last couple of years in particular, I see a lot more in the corner of my eye. And to begin with, I would, like, if I saw a shape, or sometimes you just sense something there, and I'd keep practicing, like, just keep looking at it. And I'd say out loud, I see you. And sometimes you'll kind of track, like, maybe you can't see it with your eyes or with your third eye yet, and then just ask them, right? Just say, who are you? What's your name? What's your intention?
Yeah.
And it, like, first of all, if it's like a negative entity, they just don't want to, you've ruined the game, right? Already, just by saying, I see you. They're like, oh no, that's not the game. Like, the game is to, like, just creep you out of it. And then if they're serious about it, then they'll respond, right? They'll say, you get a feeling, like a warm, loving feeling. And, you know, often I just put my hand on my heart and just feel like, what does this energy feel like? And if it's not good, just like if it was an intruder in your home, like a physical intruder, like, you tell them to leave, right? Say, no, leave immediately. it's a free will universe, so it's up to us, right?
It is, yeah, you're right about that. When it gets to me, like, yeah, like I said, you know, I can see them everywhere, but it's really, how do I feel?
Yeah.
Right. How do I feel? And I just start to kind of just sit with my energy, and also it is important to ask ourselves, where am I right now? You know, how am I feeling emotionally, mentally? What people are around me? What is the frequency of these people? Right? Because it's not just our energy, but the environment also.
Yeah.
And also going through social media and allowing people, right, this exchange of energies. And so I have come into having to like unfollow certain people, because not because there's nothing wrong with them, but I can feel now that they might be sorry, going through their own thing, and that they are, you know, they're yeah, they don't have good companies at the moment, and it is important to just like, okay, take a break and maybe unfollow that person, because I remember having those great times, and like, I'm moving forward. I know deep inside me that, you know, I'm moving forward, that things are great, but then this person start to channel some messages and some cards, and like, I'm freaking out. and I go from 100 to feeling like devastated. I'm like, okay, no, this is no good. Then you feel the psychic attacks, right? And that's just no bueno. That's never fun. It just drains you. It is exhausting. So yeah.
I'll just say a quick hello to the people in the chat. So we have Buddy Helm. So Buddy Helm, Vikram, Scott Murphy, Joe Awesome, Trace B, the Fascinating Fairy, and that's everybody so far. Thank you for coming, guys.
Yes,
we're actually live as well.
We're so excited to be here, guys. We're so excited to be here. This is huge for me, dear brother John. This is huge for me to be able to show up here, where, you know, we just came out with this beautiful idea and then said, let's just co-create together and not have a plan. Right?
Yeah, exactly. It's fantastic. And thank you. It's like and for those that don't know, we Nell and I have I guess known each other for quite a while, and collaborated on some songs, but this is the first time we've actually spoken. And so it was like, and then when we first met, we were saying, hey, it's like, I remember you from, I know, forever, like lightly eternity. It's very unlike just meeting someone in this kind of 3D reality, or like, I know nothing about you. And to your point about energy, it's an energetic universe first, and then everything else. And it feels like one thing I started to appreciate more, like you can tell I'm pretty slow. I'm stubborn and I'm slow, right? So when it comes to listening to advice about music or my creation, you'd said this to me months ago, but I finally realized maybe a couple of weeks ago that when I create with energy, so when I'm sat here, I sit in my studio here, and I've got my guitar, my phone's just here, and I'm like, actually, when I sit down and sing, think of the love I'm sending to that person that's watching. You know, encode the music, the notes, the singing with what I want that other person to feel. And it's because the music and, you know, the message and everything else is like, that's high vibration. But what is my heart saying to the person? And when it's sending shivers down my spine now. When I started doing it, I was like, I finally get it. Like, so many people have told me this, and now I'm like, I feel it. And I didn't quite realize that it's not just, you know, whether you're dancing or not, or whether you're singing or not, or whether you're playing guitar or not, or what's in the video or anything like that. It's actually the love. It's the actual energy you put into it that makes such a huge difference.
That's so beautiful. And I just wanna, you know, tell you that I am so very proud of you.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing it, you know. I a lot of times when I am surrendering to the divine, to all my, you know, the chaos and all these Yeah, all the storms, the challenging times. I realized I used to beat up myself and get so angry because someone will give me an advice, right? And it is like a part of you knows what is it that you are struggling with, right? I always said that we have many parts, and sometimes all of them are screaming to each other. So then you cannot hear them. You need to go take one and like babies, like it's a freaking 5 newborns, in one room, and they're like, wow, what do I do, right? It's like, I only have 2 titties, you know what I mean? How can I make these babies? How many bottles can I use? But this is like, for me, was surrendering to the truth that a part of me knows what everyone is guiding me to do, but also understanding that there's an energy of resistance. And you have been living from that resistance since very early because it's protection, your comfort zone, and it is so natural to you that it's that getting to that point where you were like, oh, like you said, I get it now, right? Because we're learning to manifest with energy. This is the language of energy, right? It is like you do, like I do dancing and you do singing.
Yeah.
It is important when we are coming here and sharing our energy and our creativity to ask, what am I vibrating right now, right? How do I feel? Because people feel it. If you're someone needy and you just want light, they're going to feel it.
Yeah, it's
you
so
know
true.
what I mean? If I am here dancing, feeling also, showing up, or like I'm so comfortable with myself and all of that, and inside I am like all these parts of me are like wow, you know what I mean? I don't feel any self-worth. Then people are gonna feel, they might say, that's cool, but something is gonna be like, because right away we start to judge people. That's what we do, it's part of this human, the human experience of what is it that you're sharing, and we go right away to judgment, right? But we have to be aware of this part that is important, where people are gonna feel your energy. And so for all of us as light workers, people who are here to really share who we are from our heart, it's important for us to acknowledge, what are the emotions, the feelings, and what are the intentions of everything that I am deciding to put out there for the world.
And I think another good, like something you really helped me with was fear, right? Where fear has a great way of hiding itself from you. So you kind of, like you're saying, you create this protective bubble. Like I can imagine like creating this beautiful grassy meadow in front of me where every day I step into it and it's just beautiful, and all the the sun's out and the plants and the birds are all singing to me, and it's just amazing. But in the corner there's a door and there's a demon in front of it, and I'm like, la 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 la.
You're not
there. No, they're not real, right? So that's cool. You just stay there and I'm not talking to you. And and then actually the good news is that actually that door is your future. And the reason the demon's there in your mind, the fear is in your mind, is because when you tackle that, when you turn to face it, you find it's there to stop you. It's almost like your body's reaction to saying, please don't go through there. This is a huge change. I don't know that we're ready. But when you go through it, you just step into this whole new liberation. And sometimes, like some things I tried, like I like suffer from like body shame, right? I'm just like, I'm always so hard on myself physically. And when I see you're dancing, I was like, I want to do that because I'm terrified, right? Because the last thing I want to do is like take my top off and dance in front of the camera. And it like literally, and so when I do it, like I did it this morning, I have so much fun. Like I was sweating, and like my inner child, it just felt like I'm like a middle-aged man, like dancing around in his garage to his phone and then posting on YouTube. And it filled me with so much fear. And yet the reward is just intense. Like I just feel so good. I feel so like that I can love my body. I can be like, it's okay.
It's free.
It's like I'm exactly. I'm happy. I'm healthy. And if I think also when you can lead by example, right? Face your fear, go and do it, and then others will be like, well, you know, if Skinny John can do it, then like you can do it too. Like you know, just go and express yourself. We're all unique.
Yeah.
And yeah, big thanks to Fairy as well. I was like, I think there was one song where I asked her for some advice. I said like it was just me, like, and I kind of just looked naked. And I was like, should I?
Yeah, of course.
And she said,
yeah.
yes, you should, because then you'll be more comfortable, you know, with yourself. And I'm like, yeah, it's true. It's like like almost like when you open the door, like keep pushing, like just keep trying to face that fear.
It is yeah, it is beautiful what you just said, you know, and thank you so much again for sharing, because this is like the intention when we talk about creating this, is like, let's be vulnerable, right?
Yeah.
What is it really to be emotionally vulnerable? It is to do the things that freaking scare you shit out of you. It is facing those huge demons or elephants or whatever monsters there are right there that we continue to dismiss just because a lot of times, because it's gonna take us out of the comfort zone, because we, you know, humanity have so much resistance to change. I did not know that. I thought I was someone. I mean, I come from a third world country. I, you know, packed my bags. I came here with nothing. I didn't know English. I was like, you know what I mean? Like I came here and then it's so scary, right? And I was like, I am super, you know, I'm someone vulnerable. No, I can change. I was like, I'm great at change. No, I'm not. And then something else that you said, you know, that we must acknowledge is words carry vibration and those inner beliefs. When we say, I am stubborn.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I am stubborn. When you said that, you're sending that vibration, and your body is like this energy, these switches on you that go on, and then you start to experience being stubborn, right?
Yeah.
But really being stubborn is resistance to change, right? It is wanting things my way. And I have found out about me also being very stubborn, of course. I want to do things one way, and because this worked for me, I want to stay there, you know. And maybe somebody will come and tell me, but if you do this, you're gonna, you know, you do this different, you're gonna save some money, or you're gonna save yourself some time. I'm like, no, I don't want it. And my first reaction will be frustration and anger, because of course I'm a free spirit and I don't like people telling me what to do. But it like my reptilian brain, you know, a reptilian brain, the survival brain, where I am stubborn, you know, my belief, I told myself all the time I'm stubborn, so I am stubborn, right? I'm creating my reality, where I have to face mirrors, right? Other people who are so stubborn. So here you find yourself in conflicts all the time, because these people didn't say, they're so stubborn. Well, guess what? Mirror, mirror, right? You start to face that. So I start to see, when I like open up to that, and like, okay, I'm confirming my inner belief that I am stubborn. I am resisting change. And for humans to be able to work together, to be together, we have to be open-minded, be open to other ways of doing things, of living, and working with others, right?
Yeah, that's so true.
So I am there, you know, right now, where I am it's so uncomfortable to allow change and to let go of that resistance, and to, even when I am feeling so much resistance, I go into meditation, and I said, I am surrendering. And when I feel like I'm surrendering, I surrender more. And I just feel my body will start to like shake, because it's like,
no.
It's like the control, because it's all about also granting control, and this illusion that we have that we can control people, outcomes, and things, because And we even become we like to manipulate consciously or subconsciously. We like, you know, this illusion where we start to manipulate and we want to control things, so we get the outcome that we want, which is to stay in our comfort zone, which is to not face the freaking fears, to not walk through that door, and our ego mind will justify and create everything to hold on to
definitely
those beliefs and those ideas to keep us there.
And it resonates so much with my journey. Like as I guess a better way I could describe stubbornness would be that I'm on a journey to continually reduce my stubbornness. And on that journey, like one thing I found, it like literally after I wrote, it was just over 1,000 songs. It's so funny because even when I say the words, like my ego's like, why are you going on about all your songs again? Like, who cares? Who cares how many you wrote? But it's really funny because it literally took me 1,000 until I acknowledged that I had channeled 1,000 songs, that I had meditated every day. I'd received these messages from my guides and from the universe, and I'd written songs. And literally until that point, I just didn't believe it. My ego's like, you're making it up. It's your subconscious. Because this is what other people tell you. They'll say, but John, like just last week, I did a song for some friends, and they said, I haven't heard all your other songs, John, but presumably they're all the same. And
they said that.
And I was just like, and I said, well, you should watch them all. There's about 90 hours now, so you should go and watch them all and tell me if you think any are similar. But it's really funny because sometimes both the fear for me was, would this journey really take so long? Would it really take so many songs? And then as I started creating more and more, I realized it's nothing to do with how many songs I'm creating. It's the continued practice. For me, it's the baby step every day. It's like every day sitting with myself and listening and surrendering. If I'm just surrendering for 10 minutes a day, I'm receiving, and then I'm creating with that love. And it could be literally one song that took me 4 years, and it could be 4,000 songs. It just doesn't matter. And the other thing I realized as I was creating a lot was like that, I then began to cling onto it. You saw this, right? You helped me because I had like a copyright strike on my, a strike on my YouTube account from someone that I collaborated with. And I was so triggered. I was like, but I've created all this thing and now I want to hold on to it. You know, it's like a dragon with its egg, you know. And I realized, wow, this is great, because you helped me see there's a fear, like there's this accidental fear that you're creating where everything you're manifesting you want to hang on to, and you want it to define you. And so when I took that trip out to Seattle and I didn't write a song for a week, for me, it was just every day. I just felt like you're on the right path, you're doing the right thing, but don't obsess about what you've created. Like if you're going to lose it all, it's fine, because you're not losing what you've learned
yourself.
In your heart. Yeah. I'm brave, but I don't know if I'm brave enough to literally start again. Like, would I delete all my songs? I don't know. Maybe one day I would. Maybe I would do that. And it just freed me up to thinking, to believing that, and thinking that this legacy I create it doesn't define me. My past doesn't define me. My ability to surrender does. And my ability to reflect on my fears defines me. So thank you for that. It's been a huge journey.
Well, yeah, you know, I received the messages, and you know, I care for you. Clearly, we have many past lives. You know, I would see you like, and I'm that person because I received the messages. I have always been that person that everybody chooses to go and deliver a message that nobody's comfortable with. You know, even I remember in my childhood going to high school, and you know, the whole bully thing and stuff like that, and I remember this popular kids making fun of this girl, and why not? And I was like, man, why no one is saying anything? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
why nobody is saying anything to this person? Why do they go behind their back? Why do they make passive aggressive comments? Like, it just pissed me off. You know, so I'm like, okay, I guess I'm gonna be that person. So I've always been that person that in reality, I do care. And something that I have learned now, though, is like when to deliver and how to deliver the messages, because, you know, it's something very sensitive. Of course, in the past, I did not know about that. And I don't know, I'm just feeling the spirit saying that, you know, for all of us to just acknowledge that this always is very important to have discernment of how and when to deliver messages to people, you know. I felt very connected to you, and I was listening to your songs, and oh my God, the Star Child Priestess song for me, I mean, that was, you know, that was awesome. It still is. It's so much power behind it. It's so beautiful because it was our two energies of fire, you know, together in one song. I honestly feel very proud of you, and I want you to honor all this journey of yours. You know, that doesn't matter what people say, what they think. Sometimes people just don't know how to communicate. I think that was Spirit saying that, like, don't take it personal because it's so sensitive to you, and they might. Sometimes people make jokes, and it really comes from a place of them being sarcastic, joking, or whatever. But do not take it personal, because in reality, you are here to live your most authentic self, right? Yeah. When we think about that, it is about showing the world our journey. It's for me. This is challenging. I can, you know, I'm doing this and I'm speaking English, and I'm just remembering how many times I deleted it, how many videos, because I will mispronounce one word. Wow. And I will beat myself up, and I will cry. I will throw these cars, like, you know, why? I will be so mad with Spirit, with myself. Why did you anchor me as a Latina chick? Because one of my dreams was always to speak English, and I just created this, that I would not have an accent. And when people compliment my accent, they're like, "Oh my God, I can hear you talk all day." But I'm like, "I don't want it." You know, like we take for granted things, ingredients that make us who we are. And for us as light workers, we're here to show our journey. And all these songs and all the struggles and the confusion going back and forth, and people showing up in your life to trigger you, you know, for you to not create an identity, because here we go, humans, labels, identities, you know. And a lot of us start seeds with have been rejected, and we always have this homesick, right? And like, where is home? And I don't feel like a fitting. And I don't know about you guys that you're listening. And John, we're like, I had many friends, and all of them different. You know, the hippies, the freaking the church people, all kind of groups, and like I will go and I will become all of them. And like, I'm all of them, you know. But at the same time, there was always this where I would feel like, okay, where is home? Now, where am I here now, Spirit? Guide me. Okay. That is important, that everything that we are experiencing, to share it, because it's part of our journey.
You know? So true. Yeah, one thing you were saying about when you're delivering a message to people, like when I think maybe she's in the chat just now, Fascinated Fairy. I think one of the first people I delivered, like I when I connected with them, I understood. I started to get like past life recalls, and I think the first time it happened, I think I was on the train home from work in my day job, like traveling in the city, and on my phone, and I'm like, I'm just feeling all this, like all these messages. They're like, so you did this work together. You know, I was like some sort of druid or a wizard back hundreds of years ago, back in Ireland. She was in England at the time. We were doing energy grid work, and I'm like typing on my phone to Fairy, like telling her about the the different experience. And of course, later I turned into a song. But usually when like before I did that, whenever I received messages like that, I was like, I'm not sure I want to tell that person. Like, why? Because you're thinking like, it's okay, I could just like not tell people directly. And when I receive messages for songs, I can just write songs and I can like put that in a little box,
Yeah.
and then it's just, that's my little thing. But then when I realized actually, no, and for many people, like I wasn't really, for so much of my life, these gifts were like shut down. I shut them down for decades. And so when I opened them back up, I was like, oh, for like when I meet people that have had them since birth and use them since birth, they're like, no, it's like 24/7. Like this is like, you don't just like sit down for 5 minutes and turn on the meditation radio channel and write down what comes through. You know, it's like, it's always there. And then I realized actually when I more and more when I connect with people, I'll just say to them like what comes through. And like you say, it's so important to figure out that the first thing I always go through is like that discernment. I'm like, why am I telling them? Like, what is it? Like, is there anything attached here? Is it because, I don't know, I'm lonely, I want a friend, maybe I want like a guitarist or a drummer to collaborate with? Like, what is it? And if it's clear and it just feels like a message of like often, because you can ask, right? You can say, ask your guides to help you. You can say, look, tell me again, like, why is it important? And sometimes for me, it's always like they'll show you the next door. So there's like your guides will say, okay, the next door for you is you're going to tell them, and then they're going to tell you something back. And I'm like, but I don't want to do it with expectation. I want to do it unconditionally. Yeah. And it's that surrender part as well. Like they might never want to talk to you, or they might go, I had a dream about that last night, or yeah, I saw a feather on the ground. That's exactly what I saw. Or how do you know I've got a blue crystal, or whatever it is that suddenly it resonates with them. And if it doesn't, it's absolutely fine as well. And I think as you were saying, it's so important to just practice these things, find a safe place, find a safe way of doing it. Listen to your heart as you do it. Yeah. And it's also a really good idea to like set up some protection as well. Like to, sometimes if I'm not sure, I will not do it, and maybe, or whatever this is. And I would like wait until I meditate, often giving it time for any emotions to get the human emotions to settle a bit. And then I'd meditate and I'd ask the question out loud. I'd say it and just listen to that feeling. And because there's so much in our lives that you can't explain, right? You can't explain because this other person or this other thing for you, maybe it's a journey for you that you're asking a question about. It's not manifested in a traditional way. It's the energy that you're responding to. It's the energy that you feel, and so it's the energy. Therefore, you should close your eyes and feel through.
Yeah, we're like talking and just getting like boom, bombarded. All this is about we're on training. We're on training, right? So you have clearly the capacity, the gift to tap into Akashic records, and so for us light workers, it's like we want to save everybody. We're so excited that God is not a scary person. We're so excited that forgiveness is something that we can practice daily. We're so excited that there is hope for humanity, that we can come together. We're so excited that the power of magic exists. We're so excited about coming into the understanding, that we are so much more, and that we are magic, and that the magic do exist, and not just Disney selling stuff. This magic is who we are, like that we can tap into magic. And I think that we get so overwhelmed, right? Here where we get so overwhelmed, and also when we start to integrate our divine gifts, we become so excited, and we start to receive so many messages, and of course your inner child is like, yeah. Right, I know I can save the world, and I can activate people and save them from their suffering, and I know you're suffering, and I have the answers for you, and I want to just go and save you, and I want to tell you that you were this in a past life, and you know that's what happens. And this 222 right now, which is beautiful. But this is about all of us, like integrating, you know, integrating our gifts, and then understanding and surrendering that not everybody is ready to receive what we have to share. We can only meet people at their level of awareness, of consciousness, and we have to learn to navigate these two worlds, and we have to be respectful of everyone's journey, right?
Yeah, it's so true. So, it's like it's like our I often think about our spirit guides and the way they talk to us, and like I honestly thought, as I started to awaken like 4 years ago, I was thinking my spirit guides must have had to go like drunk or high or something to talk to me, because I was just like so low vibe. I don't know how they did it. Like they'd be like, look at him, what's he doing? Like he's sitting drinking beer. Like, should we talk to him now? Like is he just gonna like go out? Is he just gonna like check into a mental hospital or something? Like what's he gonna do? And I started to realize, like, as a bit like I felt like this when I gave up smoking. I was like, well, I gave up smoking and I'd done it for years. Yes, it was really hard, but everything. And it's like, and I felt like everyone in the world should give up smoking. But the reality is, everyone has completely their own unique journeys, and it's a free will universe, and everyone gets to do what they want. And that's the most beautiful thing about it. And that's, in so many respects, that's for me what you know, my journey has taught me so much about recently, is like everyone's journey is so different. And I'm actually so grateful that mine has been relatively slow, and I can see some people now like going through it so fast. Like they're like, if I thought that 4 years was fast, like they're going through it like in weeks. And they'll, like you were saying, like, you know, talk to people on their level. And sometimes I kind of go up through a scale. I'll say, how are you sleeping? And then I go like, what are your dreams like? And then you're like, do you ever like feel, you know, unexplainably like happy or sad, and then start to talk about the things that make them happy in life and what they want to do in the future. And you end up having a kind of very energetic conversation with someone, and they quite quickly no longer talk about a car or a house or a job. They're talking about, I'm just seeking this feeling inside. I'm seeking this, like, what is it? It's this happiness that I'm trying to find in my life. And these things outside of me aren't helping, but the things inside, like, that's the thing I love. But yeah, it's everyone, you know, in a no judgment universe, just like, you know, my guides never judge me. We are our worst critics of ourselves. And yeah, it's never fair to judge others.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, judgment, that's something huge. And I talk about that because that's the first, we're so used to judging, you know, as soon as we wake up, what are you doing? Judging the weather, judging, you didn't sleep good, or you did sleep so much, and you're so tired. Then you look at yourself, you know, your wrinkles or your nose. I have nose hair now growing. Oh, this is falling. This is getting bigger. This is getting smaller. Blah, blah. It's just judgment, you know.
Yeah.
You see your significant other. Maybe you are a morning person. The other person is not. Yeah. Look, you start to judge and criticize right away. And they are doing the same thing to you. And it's this addiction to judgment, which what happens is this only creates separation, right? It's always judging everything. It's just judgment is freaking huge. It is so very important for all of us to work on that. And judging others because they don't understand us, and judging others because they don't want to hear what we have to say, and we get all pissed because I want to help you. And here we go again, right, about everything you have shared. And then coming back to, we can only meet people at their level of awareness and consciousness. And it's the same about love, right, and loving. I feel that a lot of us have struggled with traumas of feeling that we're not loved, but we have to understand that one person who's right here who, you know, we're lacking healthy love and affection, and you know where you're coming from, where your family comes from, where your loved ones come from, the story, you know, they may be right here, and the idea of them loving and the idea of humanity loving is a lot of codependency, of self-sacrifice and judgment, right? And separation. You're masculine, you're feminine, you're man, you don't cry, and the women always is crying, and like it's all this judgment and all these ideas, and all of that just serve for us to create separation again. And yeah, that's kind of something that I have been working a lot on. Just as soon as I hear the voice of judgment, I'm like, okay, here you are judging. Here you're judging.
Yes,
okay.
yeah.
Archangel Michael, I call upon the violet flame. Please send forgiveness. I don't want this energy here. Please forgive me. You know, transform it into divine love and awareness. Okay, let's keep on going.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, like one of the ways I work on my judgment journey is, one of the first things I do is the first words I say every day. I just practice it. I say thank you for my family, my friends, my music, my house, my job, my food, my motorhome, our holiday home, this planet's Earth, and every living thing. And it is the first things I say. I always put my hand on my heart, and I always imagine them, like when I say the words, like I imagine my family, like my wife, my immediate family, my extended family, and I imagine them all glowing, like filled with love, like just filled with joy. And as I work through it, through those words, it's like for me, that mantra is about the love and the forgiveness. Like, because I often feel like that very end part, like, could you really love everything in the universe? Like, do you know what's here? Like in just this universe, there's a lot of bad stuff as well as good stuff. Could you really love it? And I'm often saying it in front of the mirror in my studio, because it's an entire wall. It used to be a dance studio, and I often just stand there looking at myself, and I kind of laugh at the end, because I always think, yeah, I do. I love. I find the divinity, and I look for the divinity in everything, and I feel it's love, and it doesn't matter how small and how dull that bit of light is in that being's heart, or that energy's heart. It's there. It's there everywhere, and it's so beautiful. And if you really believe it, you really feel it, then you can forgive yourself, right? You can forgive yourself, because everything outside is a reflection of what's inside. And so all those big ugly demons that are out there in the universe, like, they're inside too. And they're just a reflection of that darkness outside. And so you're saying, I love you outside, and I love you inside. And and when you start to do that, and it can be one thing I've found a lot, when like you're saying about practicing with and doing with like Archangel Michael, ask for help when you're going through like that kind of judgment scenario, that feeling. It's like looking for that little divine spark, and you're saying, and all you need to do each time is just keep growing it, right? You just think, I know it's there, I can see it, and I am so grateful for it. This is the nature of this universe. Just like the yin and the yang sign, there's like in each, there's that tiny little piece of divinity. And every time you acknowledge it, it like fills it with love. And it grows that little bit bigger every time. So instead of saying, oh, you're that tiny little bit of light and darkness, you know, you should be way bigger. It's like, I see you, and I'm filling you with my love. And every time I interact with you, you're going to get bigger and bigger.
That's powerful. That's powerful. I mean, I'm just getting here, you know, a lot about forgiveness and the judgment of bad and good and dark and light. It's just, right. It's just that's something that I have been working on too. And for me, I feel that for all of us to really forgive, we have to be able to go into the depths of all the light and all the darkness. And like you said, all these entities, all this darkness, you know, this polarity, right? is the universe. Is universe is chaotic, man. There's so much and as you know, all of us having this human experience, we cannot even comprehend that.
That's right.
But that is related to and connected to this, a victim mentality and perspective. You know what I mean? And when you release the judgment, then you can just detach from your emotions and judgment and see things for what they are, and then choose not to judge them, but to love them and to forgive, right? And to just acknowledge them and send, and send divine love to everything, really. And to what I do, like, okay, I give it to the divine justice, right?
Yeah.
I acknowledge the darkness. I acknowledge the light. I acknowledge how the darkness is teaching me so much about me. And I acknowledge how when I sometimes focus too much on the light, it hurt me too.
Yeah.
Right? So that yin and yang, and I feel that the yin and yang is always moving and it's going inside the other one. And that's how everything is, right? So it's how do you want to judge it? How do you perceive it? You know what I mean? It's like, but then there's no separation. So can you understand that all of the universe as whole is our mirror of all of us? So who we are, we will come from, right?
Yeah.
So then you can really see it with forgiveness, because I came to the point of like, okay, how can I work on forgiving myself, forgiving others? Well, I clearly have seen past lives, and I am able to go into different, multiverse, and why not? And I'm able to see, I mean, crazy. I bet you do too, right? Like, okay. And I have taken many forms, and I am crazy, apparently very crazy, shapeshifter. And then I have been that being that is filled with anger, burning the shit out of everything with no mercy.
Yeah.
And that's when I surrender it to say how, the divine source of creation, number one, is not judging you. Who are you to judge yourself, and who are you to judge others? Then acknowledging, because this is about expanding your consciousness. We as humans is so tiny. It's like, can you expand your consciousness and really sit in with the truth that you have been the victim, and the same victim and the abuser too. So
that's
forgiveness.
right.
Forgiveness is like expand your consciousness, expand it, stop judging things, and again, just the yin and the yang, and we are all of that, and there's no separation.
That's so true. It is beautiful, right? I felt like for 2 or 3 years I was just so focused on the light all the time, and every time, like, some people would say to me that were close to me, like, where's your darkness, Jon? Like, where is it? You're hiding it. Why are you hiding it? What do you got to hide? And I'm like, do I? where is it? and then I guess there was a series of experiences. But like one thing, I did this session with Jenny from Starseed Academy, and she said, hey, did you know that if you want to accept it, your mission can extend into clearing darkness? I'm like, me? Like, are you serious? And they're like, you should. And I'm like, I got a guitar, and I'm like, this is green screen effects. I can sing happy songs. Is that good for demons? Would they dance to? Like, I didn't know what I was getting myself in for, and yet it was like I was shown. Like, every session I've done so far, I've learned so much about me and my perception of reality, so much more than I ever realized. And it's almost like every session is a gift. And although I'm doing it unconditionally for someone else, and sometimes the answers don't come through straight away. They come through like days later for me. Like, did you know, Jon, I had to show you this so that you could then understand this next stage. I'm like, okay, what's this next stage? And like, just like you're talking about, I've had a few sessions now where I've taken people through destructive journeys. So they've been destroyers of planets and universes, and through different people. And I saw some of my origins were in creation, but I also, I've also had to do a lot of healing for a more recent lifetime of destruction, where I felt so responsible for the destruction of a planet. And, it took like about 2 years of like every meditation every day, like looking myself in the mirror, seeing that face of that past life and saying, I forgive you. Like, I now see the creation and I see the destruction and I see them as one. Like, you cannot create without destruction, in that, well, I don't entirely know how it all works, but it's like this cycle. Everything's in a cycle. It's all like this infinity loop, and all the beauty that comes out of destruction as well, and that we all play these roles and that we step into them. And that actually, that voyage of discovery where you can go through your past lives and learn about the things that you did, and they echo into this energy and they echo into this lifetime. And by going through it, you're able to help forgive and heal so much more, and be grateful for the journey, right?
Yeah, because I mean, this is we're talking about soul evolution, and that's what I'm saying. The light, the darkness, we are so much more than what we think. And we're like, oh, it's like me, this Latina lady. I have seen myself coming from the fire, just blowing balls of fire, like crazy sorcerer, like crazy, and I also know about Orion, the destruction of Orion, where all of us destroyed again, and we were fighting and masculinity, and yes. And so everything that you're saying, it just matches how I feel about myself. And this journey in like expanding my consciousness and really digging deep on my feelings of guilt. Why did I feel so guilty? I mean, I'm talking about that I was getting shots on my back at a chiropractor. For guilt. I mean, guilt to the point I was just so sick. I was, and I remember being a child and also telling my mom, I feel like crying. Please hug me, Mom. And what is it? I said, I have a sadness. I am sad. Of course, I was feeling everybody else in the world, but now through all this journey of awakening and remembering, going through all this shamanic journey back, I have understand that I was also holding on to guilt from things that we have done in Atlantis and Orion, and I mean many planets, even in Lyra. And so we have been so destructive, and we might be at this moment doing some crazy stuff too.
That's right.
So how are we not gonna forgive? And it really, I think that this conversation now is taking us to really expand our consciousness and embrace who we are as we are. So to release judgment and really go deep into our waters, into our emotions, and what all you can do at this moment for the people they're not remembering, it's just really honor those emotions, name them, guilty. I feel guilty. Why do I feel guilty? And what I did was I call upon the divine and all my, star brothers and sisters from different consciousness. And I said, from the bottom of my heart, today I choose love over fear and over control. And if I have disrespected you and your planet, if I have caused, any suffering, today, as this human being who is awakening, I choose to ask for forgiveness, because today I'm not the same person, I'm not the same being, because we have to look into our darkness and recognize like the stubbornness and the my way, and that, because when you go into the depth of your darkness and you feel the anger that you have been holding on, how angry you can feel, and how destructive and negative, revenge you can feel, right? Wanting revenge and stuff like that. When you take ownership of that, then you can really expand your consciousness and say, I've done these things before, clearly. And I am here going through all these mirrors, and I am feeling this in my physical body. So it is time for me to release them. So forgiveness, right? Just setting the intention to release and forgive, and then allow your physical body and your divine team to support you and help you alchemize everything and just, set it free. And
that's so true.
And that's it. Yeah, that's how I have been dealing with that personally.
That's beautiful. And
yeah,
and I feel that so many of us, through our previous lives, when we've gone through those traumatic experiences, often it's the ones that we created or that we let happen to us. Like we felt that we could do something about it, and they're often like associated with our gifts, like because it's like there's almost like this violent rage outburst of our emotions through these gifts that are like, it makes the X-Men, you know, and Marvel movies look very, very, very tame, right? And so when you come into this lifetime and you're like, oh, I'm just this little 3D body, I'm in this little human suit, and I can like drive a car and I can walk and I can run. Like this is pretty, I feel pretty safe. And it's like, no, things are changing now. So things are changing, and you're stepping into more and more gifts, and you can see people doing, you know, learning new gifts that you just never really thought possible. And as you start to connect more with your own, it can often take you right back to that previous life and realize, I don't want to be, oh no, I don't want to, you know, like, I don't want to move objects with my mind or my energy, because that's how I, you know, destroyed a home, or I killed people doing it. And I don't want to bring it into this life. And then you realize, no, it's okay. Like you've paid your price. You know, you're here in this moment. There's a lot of karma in this universe. There's a rebalancing, and you're here now to learn that it's safe. It's safe to step into this gift. It's safe to say, I forgive myself and I allow this gift now to come through, and then to like just keep practicing it. Right. I'm going to need a lot of practice for that one, for moving stuff with my hands, but I've seen it, and I've seen others do it physically, and it blows my little 3D mind. I'm like, did I just see that? Did you see that? And the more we trust ourselves, the more we realize this is energies flowing back through into this lifetime, and we can now just, you know, trust ourselves to surrender to that and allow that energy, that gift to flow. It's so beautiful and so unstoppable.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I have seen those videos too. And where you're saying about, you know, having awareness about our gifts and how powerful we are. Yeah, we are powerful. Yes. And we have misused our gifts. And that's why we are going through a lot of lessons, right? Now we're experiencing, it is what it is. It's the law of the universe, right? The cause and effect. I don't know why I'm just seeing the emperor, the chariot car, you know, where he's illuminated and he understands his power. And the chariot, the emperor is on his chariot, and he knows that he's successful and that he's very powerful. And he acknowledged that he has gone to, you know, the path, to different paths, right? That you have a choice always. How do you wanna utilize your divine gifts and your powers, you know, because in past lives, parallel lives, you have made a decision, and that decision has caused suffering and pain to other people and to yourself. And now here we are now during these very important times again, and we are becoming aware of our gifts. So how do you want to use them, and what's the intentions behind? And I think that a lot of people, light workers, you know, a lot of them are not aware of that. and it is important for all of us to say it, to acknowledge it, because we are very powerful. And our words, man, our thoughts, our words, the words, they give us the words. Please be aware of your words, please.
and your thoughts as well, right? It's because your words are just one way of bringing it into this reality, but your body. I remember hearing, I don't know where this came from, but it was like the emotions kind of sit out with, they're not quite in 3D, like they're kind of sit slightly out of it. But when you bring, you know, when you manifest an energy into this reality, when you manifest a word, a feeling, a thought, and you could be negatively thinking about an experience that you've had with someone over and over again, like that is affecting that other person. Like your thoughts are affecting them. And
Whew.
when you realize that, you're like, okay, I'd like to, could I just rewind my life and like go back to the start and like tell myself, hey, Jon, when you're like thinking of other people, like look at that, find that divinity in them, like find that love inside of them. And remember, like everyone's going through such a big change and this planet's changing so much, so fast.
Yeah.
Just think how they're feeling. They're just trying their best, just like you are. They're just trying on the best in their journey. And yeah, they may be hurting you. And, you know, you can be a sovereign soul and say, you know, goodbye, I don't need you in my life. Or you can, you know, you can say, look, I'd like to explain how that interaction felt. And I love you and I forgive you. And yeah, that's a big thing for me as well. Because like you were saying earlier, it's like an addiction. It's like, hey, Jon, someone annoyed you yesterday, and it's like there's this thing like feeding on you, like go on, go on,
like
get angry.
Termites. The termites. It's termites. It's addicted. It's an addiction. But I think that I would like for us to just close this session, as I have to receive my son very soon. It is just what I'm hearing from Mother Isis, and it's compassion is understanding other people's suffering, right? Having respect of other people's suffering, and all these people who has hurt us consciously or unconsciously. You know what I mean? They are suffering, and we know that because we are suffering. We have been going through this journey of suffering, right? To understand our perspectives and to really manifest, you know, forgiveness in our lives, and to show others that yes, we are all capable of forgiveness, right? Of forgiving from your heart. And something else that she is reminding us is the power of our words. We can charge talismans of powers, Chris, you know, whatever that you use to your guitar with the intention. You know, you can and you can bless, and you can release negativity, but being aware that yes, when we focus our intention, our energy into speaking negatively of someone, even going to, you know, to whoever, criticizing, judging, that's called psychic attacks. And that's what happens to a lot of us, right? Because we are here exposing ourselves, and people are like, yeah, look at her. I remember she was partying, and look at her now. She's really spiritual, right? So people do that, you know what I mean? And they are doing that. So Mother Isis said, you know, recognize that the power of your words, that, you know, what you put out there is going to come back at you. So light workers, be very aware, because there is the, you know, the karma always going, you know, we attract that we put out there. So it's not that we have to be perfect, and this is training, right? This is training. But as soon as you find yourself doing that, being so focused on people, criticizing yourself and others, and being just projecting your own misery into others, you know, to always come back to our heart center and to call upon the Saint Germain, the Violet Flame, Archangel Michael, and just to remember the, you know, compassion is understanding and respecting all the journey and suffering. That's what I'm hearing.
So beautiful. To do it with love.
Lots of love.
So thank you so much.
Thank
you. Been amazing. Absolutely incredible. And thank you to everyone in the chat. Sorry we've not been able to talk too much. I've been they're on a bit of a lag, so they'll catch us up. But yeah, thank you so much everyone in the chat. Everyone who watches on replay. Please do check out Nela's channel. I'll make sure there's a link in the video. And there's loads of stuff, loads of great stuff. And yeah, we look forward to doing this again. We'll definitely do it again, and really enjoy just connecting and surrendering to what wants to come through to help humanity.
Yes, amen. It's been my pleasure, and I honor everyone's journey. This is amazing, and we will do it again. This
Definitely.
is awesome. I think it would be very beautiful for us, Jon, to now reach out to some of our brothers and sisters to do this, with them. So we're open, guys. We want to support everyone, and just remember that we got you. All you have to do is come back home here with Jon and Nela, and we got you.
We got you. That's for sure. Always here.
Namaste. Exactly. Peace and love. All right. Namaste. Talk to you soon.
See you. Bye,
Bye.